Okay, so this is a telescope, obviously, and what's amazing about this is it's a handmade Japanese telescope.
Now, when you say it's handmade, what do you mean?
I mean, every single bit of this is handmade, not machine made. So they used the Japanese people that make these telescopes. It's called a Takahashi, and they do sand casting to make all the components of the telescopes. Then Canon have designed all the lenses. It has a series of lenses inside, and every single bit of it is handmade. Even these little finder scopes are handmade. Yeah. So it has. On the far side.
How does that mean that each one is very slightly different? No?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, I suppose it's the precision with which these are made.
Amazing.
I mean, just an incredible thing.
What a gorgeous looking thing.
Yeah, so I love it as much to look at as to look through.
Yeah.
You know? Even the serial number is all done according to the current emperor when it was made.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is a travelling telescope.
Right.
So if you take this clamp off, the telescope actually screws in half, and then you can put it in a handbag and take it anywhere in the world. I know. So I bought it as a travelling telescope when it was lockdown, because a really important thing for me was thinking that one day we were going to get out of this.
Right.
And I was going to be able to take this telescope to the places in the world. Well, the southern hemisphere is somewhere I'd love to go, because you can see completely different parts of the sky. There are two clouds, the Magellanic Clouds, and they're satellite galaxies that are colliding with our Milky Way galaxy, but you can only see them from the southern hemisphere. So to have a telescope like this to look would be amazing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But what I didn't expect was that in my own back garden, this little guy gives my bigger telescope a run for its money.
Really?
It's a really, really amazing thing.
So are you an astronomer then?
No, not
This
at
is
all.
not your day job?
No, I'm a vet.
You're a vet.
And a virologist, I
What's your
suppose.
name?
Nicola Fletcher.
So what is it you actually do then for your day job?
So for my day job, I study viruses, and more particularly, I really am fascinated by viruses that transmit from animals to humans.
Zoonotic
Viral diseases.
We've heard a lot about those recently, have we not?
Absolutely. One of our favourites, or not so favourites, SARS-CoV-2, which causes COVID-19. So yeah, I mean, the current thinking is that must have come from a bat. And whether it went through another animal before it first infected humans, we don't know. Maybe not. But certainly it's an example of a zoonotic viral disease. So tiny little tube. So when the COVID pandemic broke out, I was working with high containment viruses before. I've worked with them in other jobs, and I sort of felt that I needed to do something, you know. So I did a few bits and pieces. First did contact tracing and some other things, but then because we had the high containment lab, I decided to start working on SARS-CoV-2. So imported a virus for research from Italy.
No, you make that sound very easy. I imported the virus.
I know, so went through great hoops and lots of paperwork and permissions, etc., etc. You have to have permission to bring it into the lab, permission for the import, permission to get it from the person from whom the virus was originally taken, yeah. And this is the vial that the very first virus for research came to Ireland in.
The very first sample of SARS-CoV-2.
Very first sample of SARS-CoV-2. And this came from an Italian patient, and it came at the time when, you know, we were seeing on the television all these people so sick with COVID in Italy. And yeah, so this, I don't even think it was called SARS-CoV-2 when it came, because the tube says NCOV, which means new coronavirus.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this tube arrives from Italy, presumably, like, I don't know, was it in a box?
It was in several boxes, yeah. I mean, you put it into multiple boxes with loads of absorbent material. It was on dry ice. I mean, this enormous box arrived. And, you know, when you open up all the different packages And then eventually in the high containment lab, there's this tiny, tiny tube.
And what was actually in it?
A tiny bit of pink liquid in the bottom of it.
And why was it pink?
Because it's in cell culture media. Because
okay, so it's growing in cells, and this is the colour,
Yeah, so that's why it's pink. But I mean, you know, it's a tiny plastic tube with a tiny bit of pink liquid in it. Mm-hmm. And it's got in there the cause of the world's massive problem and all these deaths and sicknesses. So this came in June 2020. So we were the first in Ireland to get the virus, you know, the culture systems up and running here.
So that's what you were doing during the lockdown when you weren't looking at the stars at night?
Yeah.